Why Jagger?
I work for the organization doesn't work for me.
Let's focus globally now.
We make the world run better. My goals and aspirations are to help the company get into the number one position.
You don't have time for anything else except being a CRO?
No time for golf.
Good morning, Dan. Welcome to East of Business. We're very happy to have you here with us today. Dan, your role is CRO. A lot of people, they don't know what does it mean CRO. Can you explain to us what does it mean CRO?
Sure. Good morning, Hany, and thanks for having me. The Chief Revenue Officer's role is basically everything that touches the customer. I've always used the name Chief Revenue Officer as a bit of a misnomer, right? Because it touches everything in the customer. But in our organization, what it really meant is anything that has to do with revenue. So that's new sales to customers. More importantly, maintaining existing customers. As a software as a service provider, we have a roughly 94-95% retention rate. So maintaining those good suppliers is the golden egg of our company. Customer satisfaction and the customer satisfaction managers. We have a professional services arm that delivers our solutions. So basically anything that touches the customer is what the CRO does inside the organization. And then functionally, I interact with a lot of other areas, whether that's product and engineering, whether that is marketing, which is my other side with Eva, or any other parts of the organization. So that's what the CRO does.
So that means you don't have time for anything else except being a CRO?
No time for golf. Yeah. There's no time for golf nowadays.
Okay, so Dan, you joined the company how many years ago?
3 years ago.
Why Jagger?
Why Jagger? So first of all, I've been in this space, the source to pay and procure to pay space for 20 plus years now. Prior to being at Jagger, I was at SAP. I was an executive at SAP for 6 years. Inside of that, I had a good bit of dealings with Ariba, which is now our competitor. And so I definitely have a passion for the space. And I feel after 20 years, I have some domain expertise, but specifically why Jagger. Jagger was a growing company, continues to be a growing company. At the time was not in the number one position. You can argue right now we're in the number 2 or 2A position. And my goals and aspirations are to help the company get into the number one position. We're people and customer oriented. I argue, having worked for different players in this space, we're as broad and wide and deep from a product perspective as anybody in the space. And lastly, if you think of the solutions that we provide, they impact businesses in a great way. And I like to use the term, we make the world run better, whether it's an Emirates airline who we help keep their planes in the air, or it's the Dubai government and we conduct all of their RFPs and RFQs. We're impacting business. So that's why I'm here.
Being 3 years, how do you see the growth happening? Are we on the right track from your perspective, given the fact that we passed through COVID, geopolitical situation, economic situation? I think Jagger passed all these obstacles and going in the right direction as a CRO.
Yeah, Jagger is a 20-plus-year-old company. As some know, going back 6-7 years, a bit of amalgamation through acquisition. And so companies at this stage, $300 million, you go at different levels of growth as part of the process. And we continue to grow. I think to your comment on COVID, there was a big pivot in 2020 and 2021 when COVID hit. And we've needed to readjust our business. And so the growth levers for us are, how do we continue to enhance our product, listen to the customer on what it is they need to impact their business, make sure that our customer satisfaction managers are out in front of the customer, particularly in the Middle East. We have a great one in Oman, and she's very customer focused, and so I think that's a critical component to everything that goes on. And then maturing our business processes, maturing who we are across all functions, in the company and taking things to the next level post-COVID era.
Let's focus globally now, right? So you're covering the whole world, correct? So the US, the Europe, Middle East, APAC. Are you a CRO who sits behind the laptop, or you're on the ground with the customer? Which one you prefer more?
I don't.
And the partner for sure.
I don't love to be behind the laptop. I did the math. In the first week of January, I was in the air 35 of 52 weeks. So I guess that would say I'm not behind the laptop the majority of the time. I enjoy being in the Middle East with you and your team. I spend a good bit of time, obviously, in Europe and all the countries in Europe. And then where necessary in North America. I think the role of the Chief Revenue Officer is to be out supporting all the people in the organization, to be touching as many customers as possible to help solve problems.
Yeah.
And as I said in one of our meetings yesterday, I work for the organization doesn't work for me. So that's how I perceive my role.
Let's zoom on why we're here, right? So we're all here in our sales kickoff, which is basically your baby.
Yeah.
Let's say you have your full organization. How does that feel, first of all?
It feels good. I think we're trying to grow our own SKO every year. We're adding more people to it. I joked yesterday. This is my 35th SKO. Started when I was 16. So 35 SKOs. And look, all SKOs for every company are really about resetting, finding the passion and energy for everybody again, making sure people come out of those meetings with, I like to think, 3 or 4 different things that they're going to utilize to impact their business on a daily basis, to integrate and meet new people and find resources that are going to help them impact their business throughout time, and be ready to be hard charging in the year that you're in this case 2024, that we can be successful and satisfy our customers. That's my view of what SKO is.
So you think it's about motivating people for the new year, celebrating last year. So you and Jagger and all of us actually did an amazing last year without going through numbers for sure, but do you think this can be repeated this year?
Yeah, I absolutely think we have tremendous momentum as a company. We continue to build on our products. That's never done as a SaaS provider, but we have all the solutions we need to compete in the marketplace. We have been bringing in your organization as well, world-class talent across different functions in the organizations, and we're ready to go. I've always believed in the philosophy that a corporation is not a building. A corporation is not your warehouse. A corporation is not your vehicles to move things around. Your corporation is your human capital and people. And if it starts with really solid people who know the space and know what they're doing, you can build on that. And we've spent the last couple of years bringing in great talent so that we're in a position to be in success in 2024.
Let's talk about salespeople in a zooming part. What do you think the most challenging thing for a salesperson in Jagger?
In Jagger specifically?
In Jagger.
Well, I think the most challenging thing in Jagger is probably this space. The solutions are not easy. We're selling complex solutions that integrate in with themselves, integrate in with other products. We have an ecosystem of many suppliers and many partners. So for some who maybe not in the space for a long period of time, learning the solutions, being able to be deep enough to have conversations with customers, to solve problems. Not everything can be solved by the salesperson. And so the challenge for a salesperson is, who do they pull on? How do they get the resource they need to take something to a next step? So I think that's one thing inside the process. I think the other thing is understanding their role inside the organization. We have AEs, we have AMs, we have hybrid AEs and AMs, we have overlays, and how they interact with different parts of the organization is key. So software is not easy. It's complex.
It is complex. So first of all, thank you so much for the meeting today, and I think it was very informative. It will be one of many series, obviously. You can have a longer discussion. What's your message to your salespeople in 2024?
Message to the salespeople is have a plan. Execute against that plan. Always be testing yourself. Look yourself in the mirror on a daily, weekly basis and make sure you're doing the right things. Treat people inside the organization and your customers the right way. I've always believed in the philosophy that if you do the right things and you work hard, good things will come to your customers, good things will come to you. And then maybe it's the portion of the career that I'm in at this point, but have fun in the process. Although software is complex, we're not curing disease. So have some fun inside the process and enjoy what you're doing.
So we can celebrate sometimes.
I'm a big fan of celebration.
So we'll make it this year.
Let's make it this year.
Well, thank you so much, Dan, for your time, and thanks for being with us in East Talks Business, and we'll talk soon again, and let's aspire to be number one in 2024.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yep.